11 years ago, I was hospitalized for pneumonia. To say that I was weak would be an understatement. I had been working 10 to 14-hour days until I finally collapsed on a client's lawn that I had just visited. I did not have the signs and symptoms of coughing, runny nose, or fever. I was just weak as a newborn kitten. I was diagnosed with 2 different kinds of pneumonia at once and admitted to a modern hospital not far from where I lived. Hospital beds, as a rule, are not comfortable. They must be used repeatedly. The mattresses are industrial strength, easily cleaned and disinfected after you leave. When I was lying in one for the first time, I was too sick to care. There were several IVs running and visits by respiratory therapists at all hours. At no point, however, was I given a bed bath or repositioned to prevent a bed sore from forming. I had refused a urinary catheter, opting for a plastic urinal instead. Within a couple of days, I was starting to feel better. I needed to urinate, and the nurse had put my urinal out of reach. I pressed my call light for over an hour. Finally, determined, I crawled over the bed's side rails and stood upright, clinging to the rail until the first wave of dizziness passed. Once it did, I felt strong enough to walk 6 or 7 steps to my room's bathroom. I passed out and fell into a heap upon taking the first step. Not long afterward, I was back in bed, with the side rails up again, wearing a clean hospital gown. I had soiled myself while lying on the floor. Now there were neon posters in my room declaring that I was at high risk for falls. I was scolded in front of others about trying to crawl out of bed. Why didn't I use the call light system? I did not have the energy to argue. While lying there, I became increasingly aware of a nagging pain in my lower left buttock. I tried to reposition myself to relieve the pressure and the pain, but the mattress was slippery, and every attempt failed. Doctors and nurses came in and out, listening to my lungs, changing my IV bags, giving me oral medications. One nurse did listen to my complaint of pain. She took a quick look at my left buttock and told me there was nothing to see. By then, I was alert enough to demand to be repositioned, which she did, reluctantly, checking her watch first. Nurses can't just turn a patient once and forget about them for the next 4 or 5 hours. That is exactly what happened. In the staff's minds, I was the dreaded problem patient. I had fallen out of bed, soiled myself, and kept complaining about pain when there was nothing to see. After a week, they finally removed the bed's side rails so I could get to the bathroom on my own. I had gone all that time without being bathed, and I could not stand the smell of my own body any longer. I bathed myself as best I could at the small bathroom sink. That is when I discovered it, a dark red swollen area that had spread from my left buttock to my thigh. It was very painful. I knew then, for certain, that I had an unstageable pressure ulcer. Redness alone is stage 1. Redness, bruising, and pain, without the skin's integrity breaking, is called unstageable. Had the skin ruptured, it could have been staged 2, 3, or 4, worsening as the numbers climbed. But underneath what was visible, the damage was already active. There was cell necrosis. My own skin cells were being destroyed. The area was hot to the touch, from inflammation and possibly infection already taking hold. My new nurse was wonderful, filling in for the regular one on her day off. I told her my concerns once I'd bathed and was back in my bed of torture. She inspected my skin immediately and gasped aloud. Why hadn't I told anyone? It was a nearly rhetorical question. She already knew that not every nurse was like her. She checked her patient's skin constantly, precisely to avoid the very thing I now had. A wound specialist arrived and arranged urgent surgery under local anesthesia. The infected tissue was removed. Even though I couldn't see it, I could smell it. The odor of infection is unmistakable and horrible. I spent another week in the hospital, undergoing wound care twice a day, until I was finally well enough to go home. Even 11 years ago, the hospital bill came to well over $200,000. I had survived the pneumonia, but the pressure ulcer was far more painful and far more traumatic, and it could have all been prevented by a minute or two spent repositioning my body. By then, the staff had realized I was a fellow nurse, and they bent over backward to accommodate my every need. Translated, they understood I could sue them for medical malpractice and bodily harm due to their negligence. Instead, I left just as quietly as I had arrived.